We're talking to Dr. James Hefner, who is the president at Tennessee State University. And of course, Dr. Hefner, before we had our first commercial break, we were talking about the academic and athletic programs at Tennessee State University. But let's change it a little here during the second segment and give you an opportunity to sort of report in a real sense to the community and to the state of Tennessee about your recent trip to Africa, because we do know that you and the wife spent some time in Africa, and it's very seldom that we have an opportunity to talk to people who have been to Africa and who can come back and give us some information about social, economic, and kinds of development. Let's talk about that from that perspective. Why did you go, and what did you see while you were there, and what can you bring us back? It's that kind of information.
Well, I was fortunate enough to meet the Nigerian ambassador to the United States, Hassan Adamu, on two occasions, once in Washington and here in Nashville. And we struck up a conversation about our College of Business at the university. He is an economist, and so am I. And we said, what if we were to establish a professorship in your honor at Tennessee State, and that professor would partner with an institution in Nigeria. It would be the University of Yola. And as a result of that proposal that both of us agreed on mutually, the ambassador awarded us a gift, I should say, of $50,000 of his own dollars, of his own money, to establish that professorship. From there, he indicated that he wanted me to attend the inauguration of the Democratic elected president of Nigeria, because Nigeria was under military rule. And this is a personal friend of his, and he wanted me to witness the inauguration. So my wife and I said yes to his invitation. He invited 40 other individuals from throughout the United States. We landed in Lagos. And from Lagos, we were there for a day and went to Abuja. Abuja now is the new capital of Nigeria. One thing you should be aware of is that Nigeria is as large as, of course, Texas. And we have, well, I guess even larger than Texas. You have over 100 million people, so it's much larger than that. But in terms of land mass, you're looking at Texas, but in terms of the number of people, it's incredibly populated, and that has created the poverty that exists in Nigeria. It runs rampant. The unfortunate thing that I saw is that where the oil wells are, in the north, is where the poverty is. In the south, you do not have the oil wells, and that's where the wealth of the most educated Nigerians. But I found very hospitable people, Nigerians, very bright people. And with this, with the military run government that they had, corruption was just prominent. And with the newly elected, Democratic elected, what he calls himself, Abujanjo, I believe that under his reign, we're going to find Nigeria to be in a much better place economically. Let me tell you what I saw in Abuja. I saw a very modernistic city that I felt lacked the corruption of Lagos. I found modern roads, modern homes. I found compounds owned by the very wealthy. And yet I saw a government that was concerned about collective uplift of the people there. And Jesse Jackson and Rodney Slater and Andy Young and I witnessed the new president in an environment in which people came out because they loved him, and they felt that for this time that Nigeria would be much better off economically with this man who was a former general in the army. The other thing I found is that Nigerians wanted to work. They want to work with the United States. They want to work with all countries that are democratically oriented. And they want to get their oil wells back up and running, and they want to do something about poverty. And so that was what I saw when I met with the officials in Abuja and Lagos, and what I was able to secure from the Nigerian ambassador. My wife and I spent time with him and with the new president. We were there in the stadium with Prince Charles and with Mandela and with Jesse and the others. We were there in the stadium all together, and we all watched witness the oath of office. 35,000 people were in this stadium, 100,000 outside, and they were chanting, you know, they were chanting the name of the new president, Obanjo, and he responded in a way that was very gratifying for me, and it was very good for my wife and I to see this. We did visit some villages, and I indicated when I returned to this country that TSU must get involved in helping from an agriculture point of view. We have an engineering program, we have a business program, and we have an education program. And I have assured the ambassador that TSU would get involved in a number of areas that would be very beneficial to people in Lagos as well as Abuja. So for me, it was a very good experience. I was there for about 8 days. I met a lot of people. But again, there's a new feeling in Nigeria, a feeling that it's going to work this time. No longer is there a military government. There's a democratically elected person in charge. And I feel very good about that.
And they've got the resources, you believe?
They have resources beyond belief. The oil wells turn out, you know, 10 billions of dollars. I mean, just billions of dollars of every year. The ambassador owns 26 companies. He's worth at least $350 million. There are others like him. The unfortunate thing that I found, of course, is that 5% of the country, people in charge run the country, and 95% of people are poor.
Very good.
And I think we need to do something about that.
And of course, Dr. Hefner, let me interrupt at this particular point. We'll be back with you following this commercial break.